To be honest, let's cut right to the chase without any pleasantries and hit you with a hard truth you probably haven't wanted to hear. Have you ever spent hours, maybe even days, grabbing the best microphone in the world, sitting carefully in front of your system, editing the video, putting on gorgeous effects, designing the most stunning thumbnail in the world, and then hitting publish with 1,000 hopes and dreams, and what happens? Nothing. Your view count locks onto that pathetic number of 10 or 15 views, half of which you and your family watched from different accounts. You tell yourself, what did I do wrong? How much lower is the quality of my video compared to that guy getting millions of views? Didn't I work just as hard? But let's look deeper into this catastrophe. Behind these 0 views lies a harsh psychological law that no one has told you about. The human brain doesn't look for a logical reason to click on social media. The brain looks for survival or instant curiosity gratification. When your video lacks any hook, the viewer scrolls past it in a fraction of a second. This means you're making videos for yourself, not for a thirsty audience. The most painful and agonizing part of the story is right here. The core problem is not, and never was, the quality of your work. You're going down the wrong path because no one told you where YouTube's Achilles heel is. A lot of us think YouTube is an official, dry university where we have to show up in a suit and tie to recite a lesson. We think the more scientific and complicated words we use, the more respect and attraction we get from the viewer. But what is the truth? The truth is that today's viewer, living in the age of speed, doesn't have the patience to listen to these boring lectures. In the very 10th second, the viewer closes your video with a flick of their finger and goes to the next one. And that means disaster. It means the silent death of your channel. To break this curse, you need to change your mental framework about teaching. Teaching doesn't mean opening a book and reading headings point by point. True teaching means causing an earthquake in the viewer's false beliefs. When you're teaching how to get views, you first have to prove to them that every method they used until yesterday was garbage and outdated. This initial shock is the foundational bedrock of deep learning. Now let me tell you what the secret to survival in this brutal jungle of YouTube is. The first and most important weapon you need to grab is the deadly first seconds of the video. Never, I repeat, never start your video with those cliché and nerve-wracking greetings. Saying, "Hey guys, welcome back to the video, today I want to talk about," is like taking a knife and cutting the throat of your video yourself. In that exact first second, the viewer thinks to themselves, here comes this life coach again, and immediately skips the video. Verbal cognition psychology has proven to us that humans are completely deaf to cliché words. The human brain automatically filters out repetitive stimuli to save energy. When you say, "Hey guys," the brain instantly issues a skip command because it's heard this sentence 100 times a day across different channels. You have to detonate this defense mechanism of the brain with an informational bomb. So how should you start? You have to trap the viewer's brain in a vice within the very first 3 seconds. You have to ask a lethal question, show a bizarre contradiction, or reveal a secret so that they think to themselves, wait a second, what does that mean? Is that even possible? I definitely need to watch this video to the end to find out what's going on. For example, instead of those garbage openings, throw them straight into a psychological challenge. Tell them, have you ever noticed why the harder you try on your channel, the less YouTube shows your video to people? This is a fatal mistake that 90% of Persian channels are making, and they have no idea why they are self-destructing. See that? That creates a killer curiosity. The viewer freezes and is forced to sit through the end of the video, staring at the screen. But this is only the beginning. The real game starts after the 20-second mark, a place known as the retention engine. The YouTube algorithm loves 2 things: watch time, and keeping the viewer until the very last second. The algorithm doesn't care how nice you are or how hard you worked on your video. It asks only one question. Did the viewer stay glued to this video until the final second, or did they bail halfway through? If they bailed, your video gets thrown into the dustbin of history. To skyrocket your watch time, you need to understand the Zeigarnik effect in psychology. This theory states that the human brain remembers uncompleted tasks and unresolved puzzles much better and focuses on them way more than completed things. If you give all the answers away in the first 5 minutes, the viewer clicks off. But if you drag the answer out and continuously peel back new layers of the problem, the viewer's brain becomes a hostage to the video. Now, how do you stop the viewer from escaping? Using the information drip technique. Imagine you're telling a detective story. You never reveal the killer in the first minute, do you? You place the puzzle pieces one by one, with skill, with the right rhythm. In educational and personal development videos, the game is exactly the same. The viewer should never feel like they already knew everything. If they say to themselves halfway through, "Oh, I already knew this," you've lost. Every 10 seconds, you need to drop a new layer of that hidden truth. You must constantly throw the viewer's mind into a brand new challenge. Let's take a deeper look at the lives of successful people, the ones we think were born on a bed of roses from day one. This is precisely the educational turning point that elevates a video from mere entertainment to a school of life. Take Lionel Messi, for example. We all see his victories, his trophies, his wealth, and his honors. But how many of us actually sat down to see what kind of nightmare was hidden behind those smiles? Messi struggled with a growth hormone deficiency as a child. There were days when his father didn't have the money to buy medicine for his son. Argentine clubs rejected him because of his short stature, telling him he was no good for football and to get lost. This is where we transition from a personal story to a strategic lesson for personal growth. The psychology of failure teaches us that when ordinary people face massive obstacles, the rush of stress hormones triggers a fight or flight response. But elite individuals like Messi turn that hormone into explosive fuel for harder work. This biological and mental difference is the border between a loser and a winner. Now, what is the big lesson from Messi's life for you and me on YouTube and in our personal lives? It's that laziness and making excuses are the biggest enemies of progress. Messi didn't say, "Well, since I'm shorter, I guess my destiny is to sit at home and cry." He built a stepping stone out of every single insult, every no, and every failure to climb higher. This is the exact lesson you need to give your viewer. You shouldn't just recite Messi's biography. Wikipedia can do that. You need to turn that story into a sledgehammer and smash it over your viewer's laziness. You need to tell them, "Friend, Messi became a legend with weak legs and short stature, and here you are, sitting behind your desk with all these amenities and high-speed internet, making excuses for why your videos aren't getting views." The problem isn't your gear, the problem is your empty willpower. This style of talking might not sit well with everyone at first, and some might put their guards up, but do you know what happens? The viewer deeply respects you. Because you dared to tell the raw, ugly truth without any sugarcoating. People are exhausted by those who constantly butter them up and spout cliches. The viewer is looking for a real mentor, a raw, close friend who grabs them by the shoulders and shakes them awake. Let me share another secret in content engineering, something called emotional fluctuation. The human brain hates monotony. If you speak in a flat, calm, boring tone from the first minute to the 9th minute of a 10-minute video, the viewer falls asleep. You must constantly create shifts inside the video. Tell a shocking, bitter truth so the viewer experiences fear, and immediately inject hope into their veins with a simple, practical solution. Build a sine wave between laughter and seriousness, between despair and motivation. The viewer has to live your video. They should cry, laugh, think, and make decisions. To execute this fluctuation, you must use the psychological bridge technique. Meaning, when you drive the viewer to the brink of despair over their current situation, you instantly grab their hand and hand them a sense of power through a simple execution exercise. This cycle between pain and treatment regulates dopamine secretion in the viewer's brain and prevents them from closing the tab. Now let's do a real exercise. Suppose the topic of your next video is how to break bad habits. If you use the old school approach, you go read a bunch of psychological articles and come back saying, according to a Harvard psychologist, to break a habit you must go through the 3 stages of reward and trigger. Right there, the viewer hits the cross button and leaves. Why? Because you sound like a high school cram school teacher or local preacher. But if you approach that same topic in a friendly, conversational, and challenging way, the story flips 180 degrees. You tell them, have you ever noticed why every time you decide to go on a diet, that exact same day a cheese-loaded pizza drops out of the sky and vaporizes all your willpower? The problem isn't that you lack willpower. The problem is you're fighting your own brain while your brain is lying to you in broad daylight. See that? That's hitting the exact spot the viewer has felt with every fiber of their being. The viewer thinks to themselves, "Oh my God, this is literally narrating my life. It's like they put a camera in my bedroom." This is the moment trust is built. When a viewer feels like someone is reading their soul, they will never let go. Let's talk a bit about the psychological structure of other successful people so we can see how to inject deeper lessons into the viewer. Take Steve Jobs, someone who dropped out of college, got fired from the company he founded, worked out of his parents' garage, and was laughed at by many. Why did Jobs become Steve Jobs? Because there was a specific kind of madness in his perspective. Instead of listening to negative-minded people, he locked in on his belief. Jobs teaches us that sometimes you have to set all the stupid rules around you on fire just to build your own path. This is the point of adaptive psychology education. Society always tries to make people fit in because public systems are terrified of independent thinking. When the viewer sees that even a tech giant like Jobs wasn't afraid of being rejected by the system, they get the courage to break their own mental cages. Now, how do you drag this lesson into the middle of your YouTube video? You tell your viewer, as long as you're walking behind the herd like a sheep and copying whatever is trending on the internet, you will never be seen. If Jobs had thought like everyone else, his name wouldn't even be on a computer today. Why are you walking down other people's paths? Why don't you dare have your own style, your own voice, and your own model? Talking like this wakes the viewer up from a winter hibernation. They suddenly snap to reality and say, "He's right, up until now, I've been living someone else's life, not my own." But remember, no matter how cool and motivational your words are, if your pacing and word structure are sluggish, you've lost the game. The neuroscience of speech tells us that the brain's processing speed for words is extremely high. In slang and street-style Persian, words must carry weight. You shouldn't drag them out. Sentences must be short, sharp, and hit like a coup de grace. Instead of saying, "In order to elevate the qualitative performance of your YouTube channel, it is imperative that the requisite measures be undertaken," tell them plainly and warmly, "Listen, my friend, until your subscribers actually matter to you and you're not just chasing money, YouTube is going to figure that out and ruin your videos. So instead of these clown games, sit down and make proper, high-value content." This is brutal honesty wrapped in absolute love and care. Another weird secret behind viral videos is creating sudden turning points, or a pattern interrupt. Meaning, right in the middle of a video that's getting super serious, you suddenly drop an audio bomb or an unexpected sentence that completely resets the viewer's brain. For instance, you're talking about complex marketing strategies, and right in the middle, with a subtle chuckle, you say, "By the way, have you ever noticed that 90% of the people giving you YouTube advice have channels with under 100 subscribers? How on earth can someone who doesn't even know how to walk teach you how to do advanced math?" This funny yet painful shock brings the viewer's focus 100% back to the video. They think, "Damn, that is so true," and unconsciously listen even closer to what you're saying. This technique causes the YouTube algorithm to react extremely positively to your video because the system realizes the viewer never suffered a drop in attention or frequency loss at any point in the video, and was constantly engaged in fresh intellectual challenges. Let's move forward. Imagine the video is nearing its final minutes. This is precisely the moment where most amateur YouTubers completely ruin all their hard work. How? With this cliché line. "Alright guys, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please like. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment if you have thoughts. Bye." That is the death blow to the video you've built up to this point. The moment the viewer hears that, they close the video because they think the main part is over and there's no more value. But you must not do that. The end of the video must be the peak of emotion, energy, and impact. You have to make the viewer's body shiver when they're about to close the video. How? With a punchy conclusion and a smart, emotional call to action. Don't just tell them to like and subscribe. Tell them, "Listen, my friend, today I laid out every single hidden secret. Starting today, starting tonight, throw your excuses away. It doesn't matter how bad your conditions are. It doesn't matter how many views your video got. Get up and make your next video with this new rule. And when you go viral, Don't forget who told you this hard truth. If you still haven't hit the subscribe button, it means you're still not ready to change your life. So hit that button right now and let's move on to the next level together. See the difference? This script is no longer just an ordinary text, it's a machine for manufacturing excitement, learning, and virality. Any viewer who watches this video will find it impossible to forget. They'll share it with a friend. They'll subscribe. So don't stall. Grab this text, record it right now in front of the microphone with that same high energy, intimate, street smart, and friendly tone, and watch the magic happen on your channel.